Evening, everyone. Back again with another edition of Koi Wholesale Live Auctions. How you doing, Chris? You all right, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Yeah, just living the dream apparently. So
Apparently, what do you mean?
well, no, not apparently. Yeah, it's just what people say, mate, isn't it? Living the dream.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, it is.
yeah, it's all good, mate. All good. Just yeah, people never realise how busy like the koi industry can be. I think people
Wow.
just think, oh, it's people got a pond in their garden and but it's just mad, mate. If we're not sort of spinning one plate at a time, I'm spinning about 10. So, yeah, it's all good though, mate. Do it for the love of it.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, it's a bit manic at times, but yeah, wouldn't have it any other way, would we? So
Seemingly not, mate. No. So, Rick does suffer with sort of migraines from time to time. So, yeah, he's not with us tonight. He's not dead, he's just not with us. So, yeah, before that starts trending. So, yeah, we're going to do our best tonight, mate, haven't we? We've got a
yeah,
pretty cracking lineup, to be fair. So,
yeah.
yeah,
This one, yeah, and next week's. To be fair, it's got some nice fish coming up. I think that there's an opportunity to get some cracking fish and some different breeders, different varieties and stuff as well. So yeah, I'm
yeah.
really excited.
I think obviously Go Sankey is always like the core, isn't it? It's hard
Mm,
to get away from that, but it is nice to throw in some curveballs every now and again. Uh,
yeah.
keep keep people interested. So, yeah, I'm looking at the spread tonight, and I think it's pretty diverse. To be fair, mate.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ricky's wanting to sell a load of shusui as well, so we've got a couple of them tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone told me that he's got a lot of shusui. Don't know about
Well,
that.
not so many now after the dealers have had their fill, mate.
Yeah, I heard it's been
It's
popular. So
Yes, yeah, but just one of those varieties, and particularly from this breeder, yeah, just not easy to get hold of, and they grow well, which we'll talk about that in a bit more detail shortly. I had a bit of inspiration last week when everyone was sort of recommending sweets to eat, so yeah, had to go and indulge a little bit. I found a new one. They're like the chewy rhubarb custard things. They're pretty good. So
mm.
yeah, if anyone knows them, hit me up. Um, so I think first up off the bat, we've got a couple of shusui, mate, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, I guess just for the formalities, then, guys. So if you haven't bid with us before, I think we had quite a few new people last week, didn't we? I think from
Yeah,
the
it's
stuff we've
nice.
been
Yeah,
doing on YouTube, it's been a bit popular. So yeah, if you've not bid with us before, you can participate in any of these auctions. So if you're in the mainland UK, you can place a bid just like Paul on Facebook or YouTube, just quoting your amount. That's subject to VAT and a 10% surcharge for handling. And just have a look at the dealer lists. There's dealers all around the country that buy through us as Koi Wholesale, and we can ship that dealer to that dealer as well. So yeah, just keep that in mind that there's the additional costs on there that's in the T's and C's. And yeah, let's get going. We've already got a bid from Paul on this one.
yeah. So I see another comment has come in from Christo as well, saying that
Mm.
I'm down south and don't recognise any of the dealers. Uh, we've got quite a few dealers on the south coast, so feel free to bid, and we can put you in touch with them as and when if you're successful. So yeah, we've got a good handful of dealers on the south coast. So yeah, you're well looked after down there. So yeah, going back to the fish, Kawakami, a breeder that is quite close to my heart. It's not an easy farm to get hold of fish. He does some mega Benny Komomiri as well, like serious Benny Komomiri. He's one of those breeders that when he does do something, he tends to do it pretty damn well. Shusui, there's probably a few breeders that spring to mind with this variety, Yamaju being one of them. But what they often lack is that ability to gain size, and that's often a Doitsu uh, issue. Not so much. I don't think it's as much of an issue as it used to be. Doitsu fish, it's typically people say, oh, they don't grow. But that's maybe applicable 20 years ago when 50 cm, 55 cm was big for a Doitsu, Joe. Probably before you and I really got into the koi game, you know, that was sort of considered quite a good size for a Doitsu fish. The sort of 60, 65 cm is quite attainable with the right body structure these days, and then more. So that's the main criteria for a lot of these higher end breeders now, or what I consider to be higher end breeders, is they've nailed the pattern criteria, and now it's just a case of how do we refine it and get growth on the fish, and that's literally what Kawakami is focused on, and that is why these shusui don't get a lot for your money, in all honesty with you. So yes, there's a lot of shusui out in the market, but Kawakami shusui are a bit different to the rest, just to give people a bit of a crash course in them. Pretty wild pattern, really, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
I think, you know, you've been to the show recently, Joe. You know, it would probably not be a suitable fish for the show scene, but what a wild sort of wacky sort of pond fish to have if you're into sort of weird and wonderful. And that's, again, we need to cater for people that we're always talking about the show scene and this, that, and the other, but it does represent quite a small percentage of the market. So yeah, for me, yeah, tidy little fish and plenty of detail in the pattern as well.
Yeah, I think we've got two really contrasting styles of shusui tonight, which is going to be interesting to see which one's more popular. I like this one because it's just a bit. It's. I think I've spoken about it on other fish that we've sold before, where they've not necessarily got that textbook pattern, but they're memorable in other aspects. And I think with this one, the crazy head pattern and the spine of this, where the Benny's kind of split by that scale alignment, it's just unique, memorable fish. And I think as it grows out, I just can imagine that Benny pattern being even more striking. The Shiroji looks better on the video as well, I think, than it does in the picture. But I think Benny and Shiroji quality is up there. So yeah, I think if you're looking for a showfish, this probably isn't it, but you can probably appreciate it for its other qualities. And
it's got that nice underlying tone of blue, isn't it, on the skin?
Yeah.
You know, that contrast moving forward, that sort of line of scales along the dorsal, what people refer to in Japan as sugoke, but it's not a particularly used phrase, to be honest with you. But yeah, just quite a striking fish, isn't it? And I think as that sort of body mass increases, those little blue windows, those intricacies now are just going to get bigger, and it just adds that contrast. And yeah, it's a bit of a wacky sort of pattern. And you know, we always say try not to get drawn into pattern, but fortunately, it's got quite a good body line on it. Intricate pattern, nice pattern features. We've got sort of the opposite of what people call motoguru. So you've got motoguru referring to the black pigment in the pecs. With fish like shusui, asagi, you get what we call motoaka. So you've got the nice sort of ball of orange and red in each pectoral fin. Again, as the fish grows, that will probably block up a little bit more, just enhances the image of the fish. It's not particularly an all-defining technical feature, but it just adds to the overall image of the fish. It's just a nice pattern criteria. And I think on the head, where it's still quite a young fish, we've got that sort of fleshy kind of appearance. Once that whitens up, that's going to increase the contrast between that and the Benny as well. And yeah, I think you're right, Joe. It does it a bit more justice on the video, doesn't it?
I think so, especially on the white ground, the Shiroji. I just think it's the video does it. It just glistens a little bit better.
Yes, sort of stood out in the pond, like skin wise as well. That's always something that I look for, particularly when you're growing fish.
Yeah, and it's so wildly different. I think, in a pond full of shusui, you could probably pick this one back out again because you don't get many this crazy, do you? You know, if we chuck it back in a pond full of
Funny you should
shusui.
say that. It's just quite a memorable fish, and sometimes fish don't, koi don't have to be the all-conquering sort of show-winning potential fish sometimes, and a lot of the market, as I referred to, they buy with their eyes and what they like. I think you've got a good genetic framework from this lineage. That's for sure. There's a reason why, like I say, there was multiple shusui breeders we could have purchased fish from, but there's a reason why we honed in on Kawakami, as we do with a lot of our fish. There's reasoning behind the selection of the breeder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've got a couple of people in. I think Paul has been with us right from the start of the bids here. We've got Joe back in at 125. But yeah, nice fish to start the evening with.
Yeah, something a bit different, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, I think so. It's interesting to kind of gauge with you guys as well who are bidding what fish you're looking at. Is it the unique ones like this, or the next one that's coming up with the more stripped back basic style shusui? It'd be interesting to see.
Well, I think that's the beauty of any variety, mate, isn't it? That you can have such contrast within one class. So yeah, it's sort of fish that you say is easy to sort of identify, easy to pick out. And to be honest with you, that was one of the reasons you saw how rammed that pond was with shusui at the time. It was just one fish that kept catching my eye time and time again, and it was sort of like, yeah, put that straight in my basket, mate.
Yeah, we like to try and pick fish for these auctions that obviously you guys who are watching are going to enjoy bidding on. So I think it's good from that respect, just trying out a few different things like we are tonight and seeing where we get.
Yeah, it's you're not a crazy fan of Doitsu fish, but am I starting to think that you're getting a soft spot?
I think shusui definitely, yeah, because they're so close to asagi.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I guess I just don't understand them enough to understand the complexities of some of them. Like I've seen yourself and Ricky get really excited over like Benny Cromnew and stuff like that, and I kind of just don't see it the same way. I don't get that excitement out of it, but I can understand why some people do.
To be fair, mate, the other day we got excited over over a net of Shiro Muji. So that doesn't take much for us to get excited, mate.
No, that's for sure.
Joe, have you just seen the thing that popped up?
Yeah.
On my screen?
Yes. Let me just have a look into that.
Sense to you?
Seems like there's something amiss with Facebook. Let's see if we're still live.
Yeah, what are the odds? This has happened a couple of times now, mate. Just when we're in the middle of something.
Perhaps it's just me. Maybe it's myself. I've broken it. Yes, it looks like we are no longer live on Facebook.
Is that something we can keep retrying? Do you know, mate? Or
I do. Let me have a look.
So difficult one for us to get across in a message if you are on Facebook and it's gone down. If you've got friends and people that you know have been watching and they were on Facebook, if you could get the message across to people that head over onto YouTube. It seems like YouTube is running fine, I believe, Joe.
Yeah, YouTube's running fine. I'll just put a post out on.
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot there, Joe. Okay, we've got a go live button. Shall I click that, Joe?
I've tried that. It says.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kicking us out.
Okay, well, that's pretty annoying. Keep half an eye on it for us, mate, and we'll see if we can jump back in at some stage. We've still got some good viewing figures, so we'll crack on. Looks like Steve is the latest bidder with this one at 130. So I reckon we'll play the video one last time.
Sorry, bear with me whilst I put a post out on Facebook.
Yeah, no problem, mate. Yeah, fair enough. So looks like we're just going to have to run on YouTube. Hopefully people will get the message. I see the numbers are picking up slowly, so hopefully people will see your message, buddy. So we're currently with Steve Gaston at 130. I think we've had a little while on this one, Joe. So unfortunately, with the Facebook stream dropping out, it's hard for us to call this one. So I think we'll do the honourable thing and draw a line under this one. So Dale, wow.
That was late in the day.
Yeah, wow. There we go. So Dale purchased a couple of bits last week off of us. So feeling like adding to the collection. Looks like Joe's back on board now as well.
Yeah.
Apologies again, everyone. It's just one of these things with the live broadcasts. So wow, it's really starting to liven up now.
We've got a few people in the comments. Yeah, people moving over from Facebook. Sorry, guys, it looks like Facebook's kicked us off for some unknown reason, but we'll look into that.
One of those things.
Dale in at 160. Joe back in at 170.
Lively one, mate, this one.
Dale in at 180. At least you guys are all on one platform now, and you can see the bids on a singular platform. Yeah, nice fish. I'm excited to see.
Actually, one of the varieties that first drew me to koi when I was younger.
Really?
I've just found it fascinating that you could get like a blue and an orange fish in a pond. My dad had a couple, and I was just like, oh wow. They've always been that sort of base variety that, you know, when you get a bit of nostalgia about a variety, you with Asagi. But yeah, I've always had a bit of a soft spot for a good shusui. So
Do you still remember when you think of shusui? Do you still remember that when you look at a shusui? Do you remember that one your dad had, or is it just the variety?
I'm back in Norman Road in Barton the Clay, looking at my dad's pond. Yeah, literally, it's bizarre. You know, like a smell or something like that. Whenever I sort of smell like fried onions, I'm outside the Emirates or Kenilworth Road.
Wow, bloody hell. Yeah, some people do that. They associate smells to memories, isn't it? Yeah, I know what you mean.
Mate. Yeah. More powerful than sight, I reckon.
Yeah.
So I think we're up to date, aren't we? Let's play this video one last time, Joe, and then any outstanding bids need to be made by the time this video is done and dusted. If we don't, looks like Dale's going to take this one.
Joe back in at 210.
Not letting this one go. Thing is, sort of unique fish like this, I'm not saying they're not available in the slightest, because they are, but it's hard to come across them.
Yeah. Especially in this kind of style. You know, they're not easy to find, really. You know, if you're looking for something that's really, really crazy, but also got the kind of skin qualities as well. Like they're really usually they've either got one or the other. They've got the skin quality, but so I think for this one, I think with it being so memorable, obviously you do get just bad Asagi with bad shusui with low skin quality, low pattern qualities, but this has got good skin quality and it's fairly crazy as well.
Yeah, it does help. Forgive me for looking at my phone. I'm just going to message one of our other colleagues to see if he's able to look at things behind the scenes whilst me and Joe do this, because you sort of need
difficult to
need about 10 pairs of hand here.
Steve back in at 2:30.
Forgive me, everyone, for just messaging quickly.
We've still got 3 different people in at the minute. So if you guys want to let us know if you're still in or out, Dale, Steve, and Joe. keep playing the video. Apologies, guys. What a crazy start to the auction it's been tonight. Well, I think we can get on the phone to Mark Zuckerberg and put in a complaint.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'd be very high on his agenda, mate. Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, it's a nice fish. I agree. Koi Cam UK. So we've been waiting a couple of minutes on this one now. So if we don't get a bid kind of in the next minute or two, Chris will move on.
Yeah. I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Steve back in at 245.
A lively one though.
Yeah, as usually all the first fish of the night tend to be a little bit quiet. This one's gone. Yeah, we've still got 3 people in. Dale at 255. Yeah, apologies, Steve. A couple of bits in the background here.
So we have got a bit of technical assistance coming on in the background, guys. So hopefully Facebook will be up and running. So yeah, big thanks to Steve on his evening off. Nice dorsal. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Agree.
Are you thinking of getting that tattooed somewhere?
Along the back of my spine. Nice dorsal.
Yeah,
I guess that's my spine would be my equivalent of a dorsal, wouldn't it?
Right. It looks like we have
Steve's out. We haven't had a bid from Joe in a while, so I think we're ready to call this one.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll do the formalities. So with Dale at 255, going once, going twice. Sold to Dale. Thank you.
Done.
Nice little battle to start the evening off, guys. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Well done.
Bit of a weapon. So yeah, happy days.
So yeah, we're on to the second shusui tonight and the last one, I think. So yeah, like we said to you guys, this one very different to the other one. This one is more of a traditional shusui in its style. But again, you just kind of see that Benny quality is really strong. I think obviously still not come up the gills yet, but I think it's with these sometimes they're not. You're not getting that finished Benny pattern until the maybe Nisai or Sanzai, Chris.
Yeah, probably you could sort of hedge your bets a little bit more with shusui than you can Asagi, for example. Like I would say that's probably more your finished style pattern. The transition in pigment is probably going to be on that blue skin and on the head. So we're just looking. This is a bit more of a textbook lateral style pattern, isn't it? That we've sort of come to expect from shusui. Again, from Kawakami. So all the genetic qualities that we were looking for when we're growing shusui, and yeah, probably a little bit more textbook. I think the video again, sort of the skin quality was quite good on this fish, and that's one of the attributes that stood out in the pond with it. Again, with size, you've got that nice harmony in that Benny pattern as well, literally mimicking both sides. I think this is one variety, mate, that you can get away with the word symmetry.
Yeah. No, I agree. I guess the bit on the gill plates. Would you expect the Benny on the gills to come up later in life, or just that because it's only still
sometimes it sits within the gill plate. I must admit, off the top of my head, I've not assessed this fish to that depth.
No.
I can't see it on the picture, so potentially. I mean, I would, if that does happen, it's a bonus. If it doesn't, then you're still dealing with a decent fish. Again, it's not the be all and end all if you're not showing fish. It's just an attractive koi. Full stop. And at this rate, it's quite a good price point as well. So looks like Koi Cam UK,
Yeah.
£50.
Well, this is what we say, isn't it? Sometimes we don't know whether or not people are really considering what would be more of like a show fish, pattern. Obviously, the last one is probably less textbook, but
Yeah,
has similar quality, similar and different skin qualities, I think, as well in terms of that, the the finishness of it. So yeah, it's interesting to see. Obviously, that one kind of went flying, didn't it, off the blocks with Dale, Steve, and Joe. But this one's
yeah.
a
I
little
mean,
bit quieter.
this is the irony. Sometimes it's like with with koi, it's a bit of a subjective. If you had I think I did it in a podcast previously. Like when we're looking at pricing a fish, and you're looking at a car, you've got a
Yeah,
spec to go off. This car is priced at this point because of this, 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 this. There's no real argument with that. But with koi, what draws different people to different fish will have different objectives and motivations. So this is where certain sort of unique and quirky fish, that's what certain hobbyists enjoy a lot more.
mhm.
And the textbook fish are perhaps a little bit uninteresting to them. So yeah, like you say, you've got to cater for everyone in this industry. So yeah.
Yeah, and we're fairly guided by what people want, isn't it? So guys, if you've got any requests, I mean, usually we try and mix it up every week, but if there's any fish that you'd like to see again, just let us know.
Yeah, always.
Got Ben back in at £80 and Howie Coy.
And again, just sort of going back to that, possibly something that, or possibly a variety that people don't associate with sort of getting size or mass on them. But the shusui genetic pool is quite significant as far as shusui go. So yeah, we're just getting a few technical messages in the background. So yeah, with that in mind, it's a type of variety from this farm that can amass a decent size as well. So I know like Nisai, certainly Sansai, Shusui, the Nisai not so much, but certainly Sansai Shusui, they're few and far between. So yeah, if you're fortunate enough to invest in a good smaller fish and keep it in that condition moving forward, yeah, they're relatively rare beasts. Sort of get a good big Shusui,
Yeah,
but for not a lot of money, that's for sure.
yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, it's a little bit quiet this one. So if anyone wants to place a bid before we move on to the next fish. But yeah, nice example. This one, I expected this one to be quite popular, but again, like you say, sometimes its beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I mean that sort of lateral style pattern along both sides is yeah. I hate to use it because it sounds a bit cliche, but it's very textbook, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I agree. But I also think that the Benny, is placed well for it being a larger koi. Sometimes I see Shusui where the Benny doesn't kind of come up towards the top of the head, and I feel like
Yeah,
it's a really nice feature to have. But yeah, no, let's. So we've got Somerset Koi in at 85. Ian in the comments, you might have, if anyone's Koi Talk magazine subscriber, you might have seen Ian's pond in the latest edition been delivered this week.
yeah. I was going through it today, so obviously, given that I write a lot of it, there's still something different about having it in your hand.
Yeah, yeah,
I think that was yeah, a pretty damn good return edition. That was. I really enjoyed it. The article with Marido and Ian's pond and a couple of other bits in there. Nice piece from Rick, quite New Forest Koi as well. I enjoyed reading that and keeping the legacy going of Mark Gardner. So yeah, we've got a few twists next month as well. So yeah, watch out for that. It's going to be an interesting
Yeah,
one.
it's exciting.
Have you got that copy to hand, Joe?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I should probably give that a plug, really, shouldn't I?
Somerset Koi at 95 at the minute. Ben is out, but we had Paul Collier at 90. Paul, if you want to let us know if you're still in. Yeah, nice fish.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm
So,
excited.
oh, we've got a few people still sort of going. So, I think if anyone is moving forward with this, let us know in the next few moments. I'm going to play the video one last time, and if there's not any activity, we'll look to call this one.
Yeah, and that's yeah. I had the same feeling when my pond was in the magazine. I was like, "Blooming heck, my fish are in a magazine." It is crazy.
Showing my little boy the first time my picture in the magazine, and it absolutely blew his head. He sort of like looking at the picture, then looking at me as if to say, "That's you, Daddy." I was like,
You did the whole Ron Burgundy. I'm kind of a big deal.
"Yeah, oh yeah." I only get away with it with him though, because he doesn't know what the world is all about. The reality is far sadder, mate. I'm afraid.
Oh dear.
So yeah, looks like I mean we may or may not have a lag, but yeah, we'll have to move on. Looks like Ben's out. Thanks for letting us know. So Somerset Koi, 95 quid.
Wow.
Going once, going twice. Sold. Somerset Koi, £95.
Wow, well done. What a bargain that is.
Yeah, that's a banger, that is, yeah. Do you know who I am? Yeah.
Doitsu Showa. Here you go, Chris. You can wax lyrical about Doitsu fish now.
Yeah. It's one of those varieties at the farm. I think there's probably a little bit of water movement on the picture, but let's get the video rolling.
Yeah.
I literally went to tap the bowl there to get the fish moving. That was odd. It's a bit like sometimes when I am reading something on paper, I go to zoom in on it. Just sort of institutionalized now. So yeah, Hiroi Deutsche, probably certainly one of, if not the go-to Deutsche lineage, along with Shinoda in Japan. A farm that I've been obsessed with since I started importing fish, sort of like, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago, maybe even more. It's just a nuts farm. It really is. Again, the standard of the fish is very high. And one of the reasons why I quite like the farm as well is you've often got opportunities where perhaps the indoor facilities aren't as big as some of the big breeders. You do get a chance to sort of pick up what they call their tachista, which is like fish that don't quite make the mark, but had they been at a bigger farm, they would be staying with the breeder for sure. So it gives us a great opportunity to sort of invest in decent fish and play that beat the breeder game, basically. So when this fish came in, it had no sumi on it, and I mean no sumi. You would be forgiven for thinking that it was Doitsu Kohaku.
Wow.
But it had the skin qualities, and and that Benny quality as well, that were sort of justifiable enough to say, yeah, we need to give this fish a bit of space and a bit of opportunity. And then literally within the space of 4 or 5 months, this sumi cut starts to pop up all over the fish. And obviously, given the fact that we've got a lot of window koi enthusiasts these days, this swirly sort of lateral marble style sumi pattern that's going to thicken up is just going to be a bit of a game changer. So, yeah, for me, it's just a case of, feed, put in a good pond, and let it do its business, and you'll end up with a fish that is probably worth way more than the starting price. So, surprised. I don't know whether we've got a bit of a lag going on, but yeah, I'm surprised we've not got too many advances on this one because yeah, it's a fish that I do rate moving forward. Certainly, when you in my head, I've got this sort of image of this sumi amassing on the head, and it just moves, meanders to the back of the fish. Skin quality is very good. You see the sumi forming in the fins as well. So it's a nice indication of that sumi potential moving forward. And I know how Hiroi Doitsu perform sumi wise. It's not, it's almost something you could put your house on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I like fish where actually I like a challenge. So I like fish that people don't point out for a start. Something that I see within the fish that other people don't. But I also like varieties that you can gain a lot out of them for not a lot of money, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you feel like Doitsu is one of them, just in any Doitsu category or Showa specifically.
I think in any variety, really, it's just about having that eye and sort of, you're not going to get, if you pick 100 fish, you're not going to get 100 fish out of it. Even a breeder won't do that. That's why there's a selection and process in place. But what you do is you try and apply your knowledge that you've got, and that's what we do with fish like this. It would be easy to have just not discarded, but had that sell out, through the dealership network. But it was just a fish that was worth holding on to for these reasons. Because at that point that sumi starts coming up, which it will continue to do. Yeah, it's you can see already. It's you picture that thick lacquered sumi style. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, yeah.
It's Showa, that is, of course.
Yeah, I think one of the big things for this fish is going to be the transformation in the head pattern as well. That if that sumi comes up the menwar on the head, that lightning strike down across its right eye could be really striking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think generally like the obviously on Doitsu fish it usually is, but the edging on the benny as well is really defined and nice and visible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think obviously it's got white tail stop as well. Yeah, just all around a pleasing fish. I think it's like you say, it just needs somebody with a bit of vision to kind of get that sumi quality and continue what has been happening at the farm, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it does need some body mass. It has been in one of the outdoor ponds, but that sometimes assists the sumi in certain fish as well. So that's again consolidated that pigment as well. I mean, you made a good point that the sharpness of the benny pattern is very good, and then obviously the contrast between all three colours going to be further enhanced when that sumi starts to form a little bit more. So yeah, I'm not saying buy fish on the basis that you're going to be looking through a window on them, but it adds another dimension. I used to when we're speaking to dealers and when I was work the back end of the shop, people would be like, "Can I see what it looks like in the bag?" And I was like, "Yeah, if you want, yeah." But that was a selling feature for them.
Yeah,
So
it's a new age.
Yeah, but things change. I
Yeah,
remember breeders sort of going, "Oh bloody hell, it's hard enough to breed koi, looking down on them and looking good, let alone sort of looking
from the side.
Yeah, but it adds another dimension to it. It then sort of makes fish that are perhaps less appealing more appealing because they've got more going on along that lateral line. And when people are sitting in their houses and looking at the fish, these big wrapping patterns become a little bit more evident, don't they?
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. There's been some fish that we've had on these auctions that are, stunning window fish as well. I remember we had a Karasagoi with the benny underneath, the black fish with the benny underneath. That was amazing.
Yeah.
someone very fortunate, and that went for quite a snip for the quality of that fish as well. So, yeah, there's been some interesting fish where we want to kind of show you guys how good they look through a window, because it is a different dimension, like you say.
So that sounds nuts. I would never
It
have
does.
thought, like years ago, that I would have even been sort of contemplating and having this conversation. But things move, and the thing is, it's all well and good sort of saying, I don't like Windows, I don't like that. Well, that's fine, but a lot of people do,
Yeah.
and as a result, they'll base base purchases with that in mind as well.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So we're with Ben at 160. I think we've got a couple of people. Phil's just let us know that he's out. Thanks, Phil, for letting us know. So shall we play the video one last time?
Yeah, I think that's if it goes for anywhere in and around that price, that's a snip.
Yeah.
I think that
Nice
white on
fish.
that face is going to be a bit, as the fish gets bigger, that's going to become a bit more apparent as well.
Mm.
So again, at the moment, because it's maybe a bit overshadowed because the fish needs to gain body size, but those white patches are going to become more evident. I know a lot of people always say, "Oh, you need red, white, and head, red, white, and black on the head." So that's just going to balance that up a little bit as that sort. I know I always do it, but it's when the head does that, you're gonna, yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah. I can't think of any other better way
We're,
of visually just
we're
describing
going
it.
to have to do a t-shirt like Chris Wall's Koi University or something, and then just have somebody's hands like this on the shirt.
That's it, mate. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, I think we're done with this one, aren't we, mate? So
Yeah.
160 quid. I think that's a pretty savvy buy. That is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I think you end up with a pretty damn tidy fish. So fair play. Thanks for letting us know, Phil. Appreciate that. So we'll do the formalities. Currently with Ben at 160. Once. Going twice. Sold to Ben for
Well done,
160.
Ben. You can email Chris at koiwholesale.co.uk with your preferred dealer telephone number and the reference number. That'd be great. Thank you. And we're moving on to fish 4 of the evening. So this one, I don't think we've had one of these on the auction yet, have we? I don't believe so.
Ginshiro.
Yeah.
No, so it's probably one of those varieties that is probably not given too much attention because typically we've just got a bit of a typo. It's Ginshiro, Utsuri, this one. We use a template, so it's easily done. But just in case anyone sort of pointing that out, yeah, typically you've probably seen it at the shows, Joe. I'm going to get a bit nerdy now. Sumi is connected to the central nervous system. So when fish get stressed, certain fish with sumi, it jumps down in the skin.
Mm.
This is one such variety.
Mm.
It's got quite what we call a bit of a fickle style sumi. So it sits quite high in the skin. And when they get stressed, it recedes quite quickly. So sure enough, that's pretty much Ginshiro and Ki Utsuri across the board. Weirdly enough, we stumbled upon Yamazaki Ginshiro and Ki Utsuri years ago, and they've got this really intense form of sumi which you struggle to find elsewhere. Yeah, basically. So what I'm trying to get at is you don't see many of them on the show scene for that reason, because it's not that they're not sort of admired fish. It's just when they go on the show scene, typically when they go in the vats, the sumi recedes.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can see by this picture, having been swimming around in a bowl, and you'll see in the video in a minute, the sumi quality is excellent, coupled with quite a good growth potential as well. We really did push these on sort of over winter. You see the depth of that sumi there,
Yeah.
which is quite quite unusual for this variety, to be honest with you. Normally, you see that fading of the sumi on the body, but yeah, with this one, it's just got that solid sumi presence, which is a rarity, to be honest with you, mate. You can find them like that, but this was pretty much across the board. Sumi quality was really good. Nice body structure, not a slouch either, sort of for a metallic fish. It's sort of raced up in size from a relatively small fish. Yeah, good metallic luster. Not if you're into that sort of thing, there's not a lot to not like with it, to be honest with you. And I don't know, you probably go to more shops than I do, or certainly have been in recent times. I don't recall seeing bucket loads of them.
No, I mean the only ones that I've seen. I mean, there's a hobbyist that I'm aware of. I don't know the fellow, but he basically collects loads of kin, basically like kin Showa and stuff like that. And I think he won a best award at the show with a really nice example as well. But yeah, they are few and far between. I know that there's some. I think they breed them in Israel as well, don't they? But they're just not to the same quality of this. I don't believe. I think these ones. That the thing that I was impressed with is like you say. I think I've had tosai that have just like dropped off as soon as you've got them in a pan net, and they do go this awful grey color. And yeah, these ones they do tend to. I was impressed by the sumi quality, exactly the same as you.
So it's just a nice example. Obviously got the ump in the bowl there a little bit. good skin quality. We've got Colin, how we doing, mate? Saying, is that a Kage Gin Shiro? Just Gin Shiro, mate. This sort of silvery metallic skin with a Utsuri pattern. Yes, some of them come with a bit of a tone to them because they come from the same spawning as Ki Utsuri a lot of the time. You've got this sort of fine line between getting that silvery metallic skin with a little bit of a hue to it. So yeah, but again, if you're into something a little bit unique, that's for me moving forward. When you got that strength of sumi at this age and this size, it's a good thing moving forward because it's just going to strengthen. So yeah, obviously you get that contrast.
And a nice body shape, a nice broad mouth, pectoral fins, nice colour as well. Yeah, all around quite a pleasing fish. And if it was a typical Shiro, I think that head pattern would probably be more pronounced and I think it's a bit lighter on the photo. You see the head pattern in the video, it does stand out a little bit more, like that white ground versus the sumi.
Well, ironically, you can see that sumi recession on the head a little bit compared to the body. But obviously, having seen that fish in the pond, it's as dark as the body when it's swimming around normally. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's one to watch this once it's grown out and that sumi's carried on further as well. A nice fish.
So I sort of getting a couple of messages saying we've got a bit of a lag. It's hard for us to make a judgment call, isn't it, mate, when we're doing it live? So,
yeah.
We'll we've not had too much activity, so we'll give it another minute or so. But it looks like Goose is winning at 120 quid at the moment, which I think is pretty damn good money for fish of this sort of ilk. So yeah. Variety that you've been drawn to, Joe? I know you sort of like weren't overly familiar with them to begin with.
I've got one at home that I really do like. It might have actual Israel origins. I'm not sure, to be honest. But I know, I know. But yeah, it's. I think it's been on decent food and it's just not grown. It's stayed at 40 cm and it's now growing and it's just growing outwards. So it's not the tail tube is so thin on it, but I can appreciate them for the quality. If I put it in a net, like the one that I have, it just you lose the sumi. And interestingly, when I put clay in as well, the sumi just drops off instantly as well. So it can be anything. You talk about central nervous system. I guess the clay is just it reacting to different water parameters or water color, even sunlight. It could be anything.
Turbidity of the water, anything that is going to impact how a fish will react. I mean, essentially, it's gone from like quite a clear pond to it had to respond to that. Even though we're doing it for the benefit of the fish, the immediate sort of response is probably going to be, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Crazy. So we've got Ben back in at 130. We have a couple of other people, Crafty Koi, Hutch, and Goose, all at a similar kind of price. So I guess we look to try and. We've been on an hour. We've only done 4 fish nearly. Crazy. It's been a crazy evening with the whole Facebook thing, but we can blame, like I say, blame Mark Zuckerberg for that. But no, it's a nice fish, and I think we've got something similar later on this auction as well.
Yeah, so I'm hoping we've not got too many lags, but we'll draw a line under this one shortly. So if you are involved, then please let us know, because we've got to get through a few more bits, guys. So
Goose is out, so it's just Ben at 130.
So I think that draws a line under that one. Hutch 647. I'm out. No worries. Again, always really appreciate it when people do that. Yes, no disgrace or anything like that. Just saying I'm out. It's much appreciated. So so we'll do the formalities with Ben at 130. Go in once. Go in twice.
Well done. Ben's second in a row. That well done, Ben. And 2 fish for 290 quid is not any bad going, to be honest.
No.
Well done, mate.
This is probably the one that people are probably a little bit more familiar with. Ki Utsuri.
Yes.
Sort of goldy sort of variety. Again, same breeder, Yamazaki. Same age as the previous one, but 4 centimeters bigger. So again, quite a striking variety. I don't think they're the type of variety that's going to rock up to a show and sort of turn heads, but for the purists, that is. But I think from a unique standpoint, gold and black is a pretty wild color combination.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I think with this one, with that head pattern, I think like you mentioned that black does drop off when it's in a bowl. It's got a very similar head pattern to the other one that we just had on. To be honest, but I didn't notice it when I was photographing them, but very, very similar head pattern. And this one's even more defined, I think, just between the contrast of the bright golden color and then this darker sumi contrast. But yeah, nice fish, simple pattern, nice head pattern. But they both have decent bodies on as well for metallic fish. Like I tend to find other metallics like Kajaku and stuff, they tend to have bellies popping out and other stuff like that from some less notorious breeders. But with this one, the body shape's quite strong, nice, decent backbone. Yeah.
Weirdly, another variety that I have strong sort of memories of at my dad's pond, and just sort of thinking the fins were so cool. That sort of almost mimicking like a sunset sort of thing. Real high metallic luster on this fish. You see, like you said, it has responded to being in the bowl a little bit more than the previous one, where the sumi's just dropped off a bit on the head. But rest assured, the body, particularly, and on the head, when it's not in a bowl, that sumi quality is raised a good sort of 25, 30%. I can assure you of that. So hard fish to probably do justice to, unless they're unless they're not stressed.
Yeah, so, you kind of want to put them in a net straight away and just go snap, but you want to try and get a decent photo of them, and to do that, you need to you need to be patient with them in a bowl, as I well know. I'm not a patient man, but yeah, photographing fish, like to this quality, to Chris's exacting standards and Ricky's as well, is you do have to be patient, like a heron. But
Yeah, I always put a big beak on you, mate, and then.
But no, I think nice example and something a bit different for the pond, isn't it? And like we've said at the start of this, we want to mix it up with varieties and not just be heavy on Go Sankey one week. And this one's more of a bit of a weird and wonderful
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
auction for us, isn't it? So yeah, I've got Adam in at 160. There's a couple of people in this. Kevin, I don't know if you want to come back on this one, but yeah, nice one for the pond. I enjoy mine. It's a little bit different and not that same kind of really, really dark red colour as what you get with maybe like the Shinoda Heat series. It's like a different tone.
Like a light gold colour, yeah. It's
Yeah,
unique to this variety, isn't it?
and the fukurin as well. Like you tend to see like almost like a I don't know. It's like a raised skin over the scales, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it's quite impressive when they grow out.
Yeah. I think it's something that's really well demonstrated on Yamabuki Ogon.
Yeah.
So again, you see the sort of similarities in that sort of fukurin that's forming on that sort of that yellow gold area, really prominent sort of on that spine of the fish as well. That's where you sort of the luster sort of and the light bounces off of it. So yeah, it's really tidy fish. I think it looks like Adams nudged everyone out of the way there of that 160 bid. So yeah, we'll probably look to call this one in a few moments unless anyone else is involved. Kevin, I'm not sure if you're still with us or if you're up to date with us. Hopefully there's not too much of a lag going on at the moment. So currently with Adam Dickens at 160. Anyone going to nudge this one up? If not, I think we'll look to call this one, Joe.
Yeah.
So we are currently with Adam at 160. Going once. Going twice. Kevin, done, no problem. Thanks for letting us know, buddy. Sold to Adam for 160.
Well done.
Happy days.
There's been some steals tonight. Nice fish. I think you'll really enjoy that. So we'll move on to fish 6 of tonight, 6 of 11. Nice Danichi Tosai Kohaku. Yeah, this was one of my favourites of this auction. This.
I could just sort of think of Ricky in the background going, well, he started I can't do his accent, but yeah, that's £200 fish every day of the week starting bid. But yeah, it's what a little weapon, mate.
Yeah, nice, isn't it?
It's just that, yeah. I mean, where do you start with that? Sort of.
I think we start with the dorsal crest, to be honest.
Of course, yeah. Good point. Yeah.
No, to be fair, one of the main bits of this is that that second Dan kind of got for me. How clean it is around that dorsal area. The first Dan.
You're not taking the piss. Oh right, okay.
No, I see that as a big feature on this, and I think as it grows out, if there was Benny going into that dorsal, that'd be an issue for me.
So
personally.
Benny quality is just number one, isn't it, mate? It's just wild.
Yeah, it is. And
obviously tidy body line. I try not to get too sucked into head patterns, but when it ticks a lot of boxes, having that quirky head pattern does just nudge you in favour, doesn't it? It does sort of go, well, that Benny sits nicely between the eyes. It's got that little bit of intricacy from the gill plate coming up and that white sort of indentation.
Ian's an honorary member of the dorsal club.
Yeah. We all are, mate. We all are. And just that keyword as well.
Yeah.
That's something that was sort of jumping out at me straight away. Certainly on that first down, all of it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Nice bit of a dome at the back as well. Odome, sort of like starting and finishing with white. I've not got any concerns with the shiroji on the head. This is just young fish syndrome. So again, once that sort of marries up and that transition from the head to the body is more equal when the skin starts to thicken, it's just a mega clean fish.
Yeah.
It really is.
I think it's got like a it's got I kind of feel like this head on it as well is quite a long head
Oh,
for the
sorry,
size
mate.
of fish that it is. Yeah.
I knew the skin was good, but that is
Yeah.
it's a bit lively. That is.
Nice broad mouth as well. Like, yeah, it just needs time and to fill out this fish. I wouldn't
It's,
be rushing this fish along, to be honest. I think as it is at the minute, if somebody can keep this under 35 and put a bit of body onto it, that's a fish that could compete at a show at the size that it is
yeah,
right now.
I never. The skin could certainly skin in Benny quality is outrageous. It's yeah of very good caliber. I think I don't really know what a showfish is per se, but yeah, it certainly has sort of
I
show
just,
characteristics in terms of its qualities. So yeah, it's
I
quite.
guess what I mean is I wouldn't be pushing this fish really quickly to get to 55 or 60 centimeters. You know, I'm almost thinking if you could condition this in the right way, the Benny quality is
Oh,
so
to
good
take it, yeah.
to take it
Mm.
to a show like for later this year or even next year. Like everything, the first thing they're looking at is probably body and then skin quality, Benny and Shiroji, and it's got them two bits.
That skin is ace, mate.
Yeah, it is. It's mega.
That is yeah, top draw skin quality. That is. Yeah, one of the thing is across the board with a lot of the Doitsu fish that we've been raising, that is one thing that separates them from a lot of fish. Okay, we know they've got the growing power. You know, everyone's quite aware of that. But probably something that goes under the radar is the skin characteristics and any quality, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Just yeah, that's money invested. That's sort of money well invested with these types of fish. So yeah, I had a soft spot for this fish. Again, just in a pond full of Kohaku, it had that glowing sort of property that just kept drawing my eye back to it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's mega clean fish, isn't it?
Totally. Yeah, I really like this one. So
So
with
yeah,
Phil Dyke at 200, I had a few people bidding at this. So if you guys want to let us know if you're coming back on Phil's bid.
I know what you're
Yes.
saying about like if you're into the show scene, sort of maximizing its potential for like a smaller award. But equally, I think it's got the body line and body style to push on.
Yeah, I
If
can
that
see
were
that.
more, if that were more your thing. So yeah, looks like we've had a couple of updates from people. Thank you for letting us know. Looks like Phil's out on his own with this one. 200 quid. So should we play the video one last time, Joe, and then
Yeah.
let me get it rolling. And then if we've got
Oh,
any further bidders, then please let us know by the end of this video, and we'll look to call it. Move on to the next one.
yeah, that's unreal.
Yeah.
You can see the backbone as well in the Shiroji, can't you? Just between them two dams. Like it's hard to see it in the Benny, but you can see it.
Super tidy fish, mate. So yeah, 200 quid. Happy days. That's money well invested, I think. Phil.
Yeah.
So superb. We'll do the formalities as always. So with Phil, £200, going once, going twice, sold. 200 quid.
Well done, Phil.
Little rocket that.
Yeah. And here we go with the second Kohaku tonight. I think this is the last one as well. Yeah, this one a little bit bigger than its sibling, but I think it's got a bit more refinement to do on the Benny. I think it's bigger fish with different skin qualities, but again, that Shiroji and Benny is amazing. It's just got a little bit of Kiwa on the second and third Dan, but I mean, it wouldn't concern me at this size and age.
This is more, given that those two fish are from the same spawning, you can see this one has a significant body on the previous one. The bedding and skin qualities are sort of equally as good, but this is a fish that will push through the sizes. And again, it's sort of like one of those varieties that is going to be more obvious when it reaches a far bigger size, platinum-wise, that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really thick peduncle tail tube, really nice taper, and you can see the shoulder height between the head and the shoulders. You can see that height and backbone that it's got. The length between the head and the first ray of the dorsal as well is, it's a really long fish, but the head doesn't look small on it. Peck's in nice proportion as well, and to top it all off, you've got kind of got that white tail stop as well just before the tail, which again, I know you say it as well, but it becomes more pronounced when it's a bigger fish as well.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this is a fish to review again when it gets to 50-60 centimeters. I wouldn't be looking at this for a show fish like I was with the other one for this year or next. I'm looking at 2 or 3 years with this fish, because as it does this, I guess this little Dan on its right shoulder and that first Dan, that's going to just add enough on that side for it to be.
Needs refinement as well, doesn't it, on the sashi as well?
Yeah.
So, but one thing that's really striking is just the structure of the body. Look at that body line. It's superb. And I think you mentioned it a minute ago, like the strength at every point. If you were to break down the fish into sections, it doesn't have an area that it loses mass. Sometimes with fish, like I think you said earlier, the fish can taper a little bit toward the end. It's a common thing. So the fish that don't possess that and have that strength throughout are the ones we're looking to invest in and stick some real weight on, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's a bit of again, it sounds a bit cliche, but it is a big fish pattern. It's a bit lost on a smaller fish, but again, different fish, different occasions. Again, as you said, it wouldn't be sort of something that would be advisable to walk into a show with, because as much as it's a nice fish, it's not destined for that at the moment. This would be far better sort of putting some serious weight on, some size, and getting the best out of it, and then assessing where you are in a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. I think sometimes you can fall into this trap of wondering if it's got all these qualities and it's going to grow and it's 34 centimeters and it's Tosa and it's Danichi, why has it got a 200 quid starting bid? And sometimes with working at Koi Wholesale, I question, well, why is Ricky releasing this? There must be something totally wrong with it. But sometimes I think there's just so many good Danichi Tosai that we've had this year, and there's so many still in that growing pond, like it's at its maximum, that there are good fish that are just getting released.
Pretty much the same way we get access to good fish.
Yeah.
That you would otherwise go, why? It's like some of the level that Sakai, Danichi, Momotaro, some of these top breeders are producing is vast, but they can't keep everything.
Yeah.
That's simple as. So if they're letting go very, very good fish, my God, what are they keeping? That's the scary thing.
Yeah.
So I've said this a lot of times. Certain fish that get released from the big farms would be tatigoi at other farms. Smaller operations. That's the reality of it. and that's the economies of scale when it comes to sort of koi production. If a breeder were able to keep every fish, grow it, etc., it still wouldn't be viable anyway, because you then have to ship fish, and you'd be shipping fish of a lower quality, which would be more that people would be paying more freight for. So you've got to account for that as well. Generally speaking, as the fish get bigger, that breeder at some point has said it's a fish that I want to keep and I want to grow.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they've only got so much space to do it.
Mhm. You can't grow everything on, not
No,
with the operations that they're running.
and like I say, even if you could grow everything on, there'd be no market for it anyway.
Yeah, but I might even get involved with myself in this one if this is going at 220.
Well, I think the numbers, viewing numbers, are down a little bit. That Facebook crash has sort of killed things a little bit. But for those of you that are still with us, that's just gonna play into your hands, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, it looks like Daniel Khan is ahead at the moment with 220. Yeah, I think that's a bit of an epic piece for that sort of price point. So let's just get the video playing one more time. We've got a few more bits to get through tonight. So if everyone's up to date with us,
Here we go.
is
Rick at New Forest Koi knows the Kohaku very well. He's got some really nice fish diet. I think they posted some of his parent fish the other day that he uses for breeding down there, and they're unreal. And Andrew Wilcox at 235.
so we are going to go up in £10 increments. Sorry guys, we probably didn't make that clear on anything above £200. We go up in £10. So yeah, thank you. So yeah, gathering a bit of momentum now. It happens, Joe, doesn't it? I mean, people got busy lives. We know that sometimes there's going to be fish on here that really go under market value, and yeah, we're kind of resigned to that. But we're just happy to sort of come on here on a Wednesday night and have a good natter, and hopefully people get some good fish and enjoy listening to us. So yeah, it's we'll give it a little bit longer. It looks like there is a bit of a lag, annoyingly. Again, a little bit out of our hands. So let's get that video playing again.
Yeah, what a fish that is for the money. I think people sometimes are a bit like, maybe we take it for granted that a tosai is 34 centimeters. I think that's just, there's been a lot of discussion this week on forums about what consists of a jumbo tosai.
Yeah.
And, I guess we struggle to figure out what we class as a jumbo tosai and not. And whoever you speak to, they might have differentiating opinion, but 34 centimeters for a tosai is pretty mad.
Yeah, I think that's the trouble. The boundaries are being pushed to such degree now that when you've got sort of what was the I think the record at the moment for Nisai is just over 70, which is just is nuts. So obviously at that point, people then fall into the trap of thinking that's the stat. You should be there or thereabout for a Nisai, which is just not reality. It can be achieved with the right fish, but then you've also got to question what the fish is gaining out of it.
Yeah.
I think back when I first started koi, sort of like over 20 years ago, tosai at sort of mid-30s was massive.
Yeah.
It's just nuts how within relatively short space of time, you think about koi production. In the last 20 years, it's probably advanced at such a rate. In the last 20 years, out a bit like artificial intelligence, it's just gonna ramp up now from this point, and the boundaries are going to get pushed and pushed and pushed. And when you get sort of like Denichi, the Botan project, trying to push fish up to sort of 1.15 meters, 1.20 meters, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Just like, Jesus, where do you stop? It will happen. will
I'm
happen.
sure it will. Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, I know I ran on a little bit. So looks like we're with Andrew Wilcox at 290. I think that's still a very savvy buy there, Andrew. To be honest with you, I think you've got a great fish moving forward. Great structure on the fish as well. Just super properties, characteristics moving forward. So we'll let this video ride out, and then we'll do the formalities.
Yeah, I think that small Dan on its right hand side is going to be the game changer when this grows big.
Yeah,
I know Ricky hates it when I'm talking about balance, but I just think when that's a bigger fish, it needed something on that side, and it's got it.
I think you could get away with the word harmony more.
Harmony, is that what he likes?
I don't know. God knows what he likes, mate. Past that bit. But yeah. Okay, so let's do the formalities. Andrew Wilcox, yeah, savvy buy there. Sorry, just reading a few comments coming in. So going once at 290, going twice, sold to Andrew Wilcox. Yeah.
What a purchase that is.
Yeah, mega fish.
Well done. I think this one's going to be a bit popular, Chris, don't you?
The last one. This is like.
Let's hope that Crafty Koi's not in the comments, because I know he's got some form of fetish over a Chiba, to be fair.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I have as well. I know I've said that about every variety tonight, but I do. I've got to think about a Chiba. I really have.
Yeah, yeah, massive personalities as well. To be fair, like people talk about Karashi and Chagoi, but I think these are just as tame and amazing Labradors for the ponds.
Yeah, obviously. Oh yeah, there you go. Now you've done it. So probably give a bit of a background to the reasoning behind the selection of the this particular lineage. The genetics for this particular Achiever lineage is just ridiculous. The female parent is a 94 centimeter female, 94 centimeter. Also happens to have won some fairly major prizes in Japan. Now retired and just a parent fish for Koda Farm. And when we first thought, well, when Ricky first started dabbling with them, it was clear that the Ginrin was extremely good, high pattern formation as well, and yeah, as small fish, they were very viable. You know, a good investment. You know, I don't think people are expecting to get absolute monsters when they purchase Ginrin Achiever. You know, you'd probably be looking, if you want big fish, probably with good body shapes, you'd be looking elsewhere. But yeah, having seen Koda's sort of Nisai, Sansai, and so on, it was clear that he was sort of on to something with this one, with this parent set. So yeah, forward sort of 14, 16 months, we were finally able to get hold of just the batch of Koda Achiever, which was no mean feat, to be honest with you, because that farm produces quite a lot of varieties, and often things are sold as a mix, as you've seen, Joe. So to get one specific variety is not that easy, and generally speaking, you have to pay over the odds, to be honest with you. But the moment they landed, it was just like, wow, I've never seen sort of Ginrin Achiever. But the gin is obviously one aspect of it. The pattern is a very pleasing aspect, but the body structures of them just built differently. They really were. And it's sort of like we then started growing them, and week by week, they're just absolutely flying. Like absolutely flying. The growth rate on them was just ridiculous. This fish here It's been outside for a little while, so it's not been sort of raging on the food. But you can see the body line is very good. That structure of the head as well, something that you know as well, Joe. It's something that we look for massively. That head structure, because very rarely can you have an imperfect head structure and get the rest of the body to follow in a positive form. The head of the fish really sets the tone, and that's a massive thing that we look for when we're selecting koi. So yeah, Ginrin, pretty damn obvious, really, isn't it? It's nice. You really catch it in that sun there.
Yeah, I think.
This is the last one, mate.
Wow, the end of an era.
Well, we'll see what we can do moving forward.
Yeah, these are always really popular. I think it's one of the commonly asked for things that we get on these streams. So it was nice to be able to get another one for the auction. I guess the thing for me is that a Chiba sometimes can be I don't know, do you call it Benny? But the Benny on them.
Yeah, the brown. Yeah,
the brown. It can have different levels of depth, and I've seen some with much more like a golden color, and this one's
kind of
obviously
like
really
grassy.
deep. Yeah, this one's really like deep brown. I know some of it can be temperature related, I think, as well.
Yeah, spot on. So it can fluctuate a little bit. Obviously, pattern wise, they're sort of known as Achiba Shigurai, floating leaves on the autumn leaves on the water. But ironically, the color mimics sort of the autumnal change as well, where the pigment can change to a lighter, more brassier color. Also, the base color on the fish, that grey tone can go a bit of a lighter color and transform the appearance of the brown patterning. So yeah, I've got a super soft spot for Ochiba in general. Ginrin Ochiba, and particularly from this breeder, it has been excelled, I must admit. So yeah, let's play the video one more time.
I said to Rick from New Forest when he came to the Takano event, I said that I always like the fish that Rick bids on in the auction, and this is another case of that. Got Decoy TV in here.
I think, I know, like we've got a bit of an affiliation with the boys at New Forest Koi, but they certainly they apply sort of knowledge. Not that I am a koi breeder; I've got no intentions of being a koi breeder, but if I were, they're certainly applying the sort of the ethos and the knowledge and the research that it's like sometimes we see a lot of the younger breeders. A lot of people say like, oh, it'll take decades to create a lineage. Well, if you correct and tweak the parent sets, you can fast track that, and you see that with some of the younger breeders that can just all of a sudden, within 3 or 4 seasons, they've solidified their lineage and away they go.
Yeah.
Whereas previously it would be like, well, it might take 10, 15 years to get to where the breeder wants. I think the process of fast tracking is a lot better these days. So yeah.
Ben in with 300. We've got a few people in. Decoy starting his new porn build. I'm following that series. 310.
Someone's asked what part of Leeds are you from. I'm assuming you mean.
Well, I used to be from Rothwell, but now I live in Pontefract, so I just pretend I'm from Leeds. I live in Pontefract.
Yeah, fair enough. Is that the posh bit?
No, well, it's getting posher. We have a sushi bar now in Pontefract.
Oh wow! Hey, Jesus, yeah.
Crazy. But no, it's I've lived in Leeds all my life pretty much. I'm just on the outskirts now.
Funny enough, I don't know whether I've told you this. I do actually have a connection to Leeds. My nan used to live there.
Really?
Yeah, and I did used to visit. You could go there every now and again. So yeah,
I bet it's changed since you've last up here. To be fair,
probably, mate. Yeah.
Ponty is posh. I've heard it all now. It is getting there. It's getting there. Decoy back in at 3:30.
Have you ever been to Luton, Joe?
I've never been to Luton. No, is that posh?
Oh yeah, it's very posh. We are very posh in Luton, mate. Yeah. Yeah.
It's down south, isn't it?
We're so posh that we don't pronounce T's.
Oh, we've had a spike in viewers all of a sudden. There we go. People
Oh,
tuning in at this time.
Colin. Luton ain't posh.
Crafty Koi. Yeah, I knew this were a fish for you, mate. To be fair, as soon as I pictured it. Yeah. So this one's been a bit more popular. We've got a few people in, guys. If you want to let us know if you.
Sorry, I'm clicking over.
If you. Best part of Leeds is the road out of it. Oh god. And what's this? Up North Koi saying that? Jesus Christ. One of our own.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, he's done you there, mate.
He has done me. Yeah, 330 for a Ginrin Achiba. This quality is not bad going, to be fair.
No, mate. It's sort of trying to place this fish at a farm, trying to buy it. Yeah, it's sort of hard for me to place it in terms of where you could get hold of fish like this. So yeah, interesting one, and sort of size-wise, for the money as well. I think I sort of spent some pretty big money on Give Me an Achiever over the years. Much smaller, lesser quality for more money than this. So yeah, because you've not got masses of selection, they do tend to cut. The good ones do tend to come at a bit of a premium. Breeders know that. They're a popular variety. They always have been, and the good ones, yeah, they always command a bit. I see you smirking. What's going on
here? Ian saying Leeds is a quality player. Shame about the football team.
Well, yeah. Well, you were drawing with Man United earlier.
For a time, yeah.
Oh, did you lose? Did you?
Yeah, we lost. Ian, you've been demoted from vice president of Dorsal Club.
Whoa, steady, Ian. Bloody hell.
Looks like this one's gone a bit quiet at 3:30.
Yeah, shall we wrap this one up, mate?
Yeah,
Unless anyone's
got a few
otherwise
more.
we're going to start slagging each other off, aren't we? I'll just roll the video one last time, so if there's anyone that's coming in, but looks like Decoy TV is going to take this one. Banging fish.
Oh, Rick at New Forest 340. Oh, Dave Gardner at 350. We got 3 people win. I think there's some snipers.
Lost
in the
against
chat
kids
tonight.
teams, apparently.
Well, we were also playing children as well, to be fair. We had a 16-year-old on pitch.
If you're good enough, you're old enough, mate. That's what I say.
Exactly. We just weren't good enough.
Right.
Oh dear.
So
Rick at New Forest out.
no
Decoy just came into us a little bit slower than Dave at 350.
So yeah, we've got Dave and Decoy going head to head on this one. So
360 final bid. Need to go and collect my kid. Don't worry about the kid. They'll find the way home.
I don't know about that, mate. You obviously don't have much experience with children, do you?
Well, probably bad parenting on my side or something like that. I've probably just left to fend for myself.
If I let my little boy walk out of school, he would go straight to the park.
Oh, Dave's out, so I think Decoy might have won this at 360.
Nice, that tenor just nicked it there. So I'll do the formality. Decoy TV 360. Go in once. going twice. Sold. Do you say that there's a nice pond build on the go over on that channel? Did you, Joe?
Yeah, check it out. Yeah.
So yeah, nice little plug there for you as well. Decoy TV. Check it out on YouTube if you haven't. I'll be doing the same later on if the kids don't wake up. So awesome.
Yeah. So if you want to just email, I don't know if we've had you buy a fish from us before, but Chris at Koi Wholesale with your name, phone number, and preferred koi dealer. We'll get that sent out to you. Well done. Moving on to another stunning little example of a not so commonly found variety.
I can feel Ricky sort of going, "Why have you started it at that price?" There is a slight reason for this. We spoke about this fish, didn't we, Joe? We sort of deliberated about it a little bit. Quality is undeniable. It is absolutely superb. But just to let everyone know, it has a slight patch of white scales along the lateral line, basically where it just knocked itself over winter, completely healed over, but hence the low starting price. So this is Ki Matsuba or King Matsuba. There seems to be an interchangeable name in Japan. I've known breeders to call them both, and it's a shrug of the shoulders when you just sort of say, "Is it not Ki?" and they just go, whatever. From the breeder, from the Botan line, yeah, superb fish. I can't think of many examples of this outside of Danichi Koi Farm where they really excel. Marahiro would be one, but this guy just produces them in such quality and numbers that they're exceptional. So growth-wise, just no denying them. They fly. They've got the genetics from the Botan lineage. Again, I sort of mentioned it earlier. That whole project was designed to sort of create a fish in excess of 1.10 m. So that just tells you everything you need to know about the ambition with this particular lineage. It's just ridiculous. And the big ones at the farm at Danichi, they're just honestly, they're just awe-inspiring. To see a fish of like this contrast of pigment at sort of 90+ cm is just insane, absolutely insane. And they carry this sort of metallic luster so well. You see it on the video there.
Yeah. Really interesting fish, this. I kind of, they're so unique in the fact that the skin color is so different from like that, what that pigment is inside of the scale. You know, you get like Akamatsuba, which is black and red, and that's got that same kind of quality to it, whereas this is almost like a really deep yellow color with almost like a browny pigment on the actual scale itself. It's, yeah, the contrasting color is really cool, but yeah, the pigment on the head is really consistent. No like sunspot shimmies that you tend to get with this color variety or Yamabuki or, you know, similar yellow colored fish. And then Peck's dorsal tail, all the lovely white color as well. Yeah, a lot of good qualities about it, and I was shocked as well, even with that patch of scales, which is really, really difficult to see. I didn't notice it.
I think it's when you know something, you know, I just thought it was such an undeniable fish that it made sense to stick it in. And it's something different as well. I was keen to make sure that we had a bit of variety. Structure of the fish is very good. Metallic shine, very good. You're sort of mentioning about the Matsubamon, where that sort of darker pigment sits within the scale. Typically with this one, it's a little bit more of a slow burner. That I have seen with this the Botan Kin Matsuba. That's Matsubamon tends to strengthen a little bit with age. So unlike sort of Gin Matsuba, which you can get them quite obvious at a young age and quite prominent, But having said that, that's a variety that's been worked on for multiple years. So
Yeah.
not that this is a new variety, but relatively new in terms of producing numbers of them. So yeah, not like super rare, but yeah, not particularly common, mate. I don't think we come across too many of them, and just that contrast of the pigment, they're standout fish, aren't they?
They are. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really interesting prospect. As a fish, I've not seen any. I think I just joined Koi Wholesale when the biggest of these were being sold on and moved on, and so I hadn't seen many of the bigger examples. But I'd really love to see one that has gotten to 60 or 70 cm, because I imagine that Fuka and that Metsubamon is really more pronounced at a larger age as well.
Yeah, something completely different, aren't they? I think that's what the joy of koi keeping is. There's something for everyone. So I'm getting a couple of messages coming in saying there's a bit of a lag going on, which is frustrating, but not
a
much,
lot we can do.
Which is ironic, because if we are lagging, we're sort of saying this and you won't be aware of it. So I sometimes wonder why I bother saying it, but for what it's worth, yeah, there we go. Looks like we're kicking back in now, mate. So with Paul Hutchinson at 170, double Ryukin there, cool name.
Yeah, a little bit less.
Yeah, so again, just displaying that lag a little bit there. Seems like when you refresh the page, it seems to pick it up quite quickly. So again, if you are lagging, you won't hear me saying this, but it's keep that in mind. If anyone's up to date with us and it starts lagging in the future, just hit the refresh button. It tends to pick you up to speed.
To me, this has got the perfect shape pec fins. Like, these are, I think you get pec fins in all shapes and sizes and whatever, but it's almost got them like Mickey Mouse ears as pec fins that are perfectly round. Like, it really does add something when they're that perfect, I think.
I think it's I did an article a couple of years ago about imperfections in fins and how it can impact the overall image. So you could have a really strong fish, great pattern, great blah blah blah, but with a poor pectoral fin, it can affect the posture of the fish. Yeah, it's a bit like having a beautiful man or woman with a shit haircut.
That's no way to talk about Ricky.
I'm not. I can't, mate. I can't say much.
Oh dear.
I'm just glad I've still got hair.
Not for long, mate. Not for long.
No, I sort of like a lot of my mates are a bit sort of hair deficient, and yeah, they were like, "What's your trick?" I don't know.
Fish mucus.
Yeah, strong genetics.
Strong genetics.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So we've either lagged again, Joe, which is possible, or we're dried up. Currently, we've pulled 200 quid. That's a snip anywhere near the price from this particular breeder. Also comes with a blank certificate as well from Denichi, just for that authenticity as well, if that makes a difference to anyone's mindset. So,
here we go. Double Ryukin and Ben back in. I got this one through first with double Ryukin.
Yeah, no problem. Makes it a bit challenging with the lagging, doesn't it, mate? But yeah, we'll try and do what we can.
Yeah. Paul back in 240. That's a strong bid.
Mm.
If you guys want to let us know, Ben and Ryukin, if you want to come back on that. Oh, Ben back in at 250.
So it's interesting. Obviously, I don't know how many people do keep an eye on the Denichi auctions, but these particular fish, they go for crazy money. I mean, like ridiculous money. It's the only way we could viably sort of buy them and make them commercially viable is buying Tosai. But to get some good ones, we had to move through a lot of fish in order to get to this point.
Yeah.
It's all about numbers, this koi game.
One thing I was shocked in Japan, I think one of the things that well, I don't know, you might tell me I'm talking a lot of rubbish, but it seems like Asian countries, China, Thailand, wherever it is, they have an obsession with single-coloured koi. Single colour is just their version of ghost tank. I just saw them buying by the ponds and and
yellow is a positive colour, cultural colour as well. So and although China has had some political issues with the koi game at the moment, they're not actually shipping fish from Japan to China at the moment. But the rest of the sort of Asian market is still very strong, very strong. Yeah, it's probably countries that we probably wouldn't. We would think that the UK is quite profound in terms of monetary value on koi, would be dwarfed by some of the smaller countries in Asia, such as the importance to the culture in certain countries. So interesting. So I think Ben, I'm out, guys. No problem. Thanks for letting us know. Double Ryukin, I'm out. Thank you. So looks like Paul's going to bag this one. 310. I think that's still a pretty damn good buy, to be honest with you. So I'll do the formalities. Going once at 310. Going twice at 310. Sold to Paul.
Wow, well done, Paul.
Yeah, banger.
He's got a nice collection of koi from Koi Wholesale. I think we're moving on to the real star lots of this auction. Obviously, a bit of a bigger start bid price, but these are just next level. These ones.
Yeah, so this is an interesting fish, isn't it? I mean, if you're of the mindset that Showa have to have this obvious Kohaku style pattern, then think again. That is very much not the case. Kindai style Showa like this, sometimes less is more. Obviously, it needs the balance of the beni across the length of the fish. But it's really the Shiroji and Sumi that is the game changer. And I have a particular soft spot for Kindai Showa, this sort of stripped back style. It's not to everyone's cup of tea. I know a lot of people like a bit more of a traditional style. But yeah, from Denichi, you do not get a lot for your money from this breeder with this variety.
Oh, just look at that Beni and Shiroji.
Yeah,
this is that type of Sumi that's not. It's that type of Sumi where it comes through like on the top and then works its way back down. It's that weird style.
It goes through that transitional period of what sort of people would refer to as like bokeh Sumi. But rest assured, you see the depth and the strength. Yeah, you see the pockets of Sumi that are there. This is just a waiting game, really, on this one. It's quite an easy fish to read. From this particular breeder, it's a safe bet. probably the easiest way of describing it, which gives a bit more confidence when you're buying fish, both for hobbyists and also for us as well, because it's all about making sure that when you're spending higher sums of money, the risk you're a bit more risk adverse.
Yeah.
So this also comes with the original breeder's certificate as well, which is just the certificate alone from Danichi is like a piece of koi memorabilia. It's just the guy just does everything to another standard. You've seen the certificates, Joe, just the way, like the names of the lineages, the bloodlines, and then that Danichi hologram as well. It's yeah, just a nice bit of koi memorabilia. Only get it from this farm. So
Yeah.
So
I
where
think
are we at for this, mate?
first thing that I kind of felt with this fish was if that sumi comes up on the head where it's gonna down its right hand side of the face, that little bit of Benny is just
Yeah,
it's gonna be unreally placed. Really cool if it comes up where it's threatening to do so. And then you've got sumi in all the right places. But I think you're always going to have that big band of shiroji across the shoulders. It's always going to be kindai, and the back side of it, I think, will be a little bit more heavy with the sumi. I just think, yeah,
it's ironic. Well, not ironic, but it's interesting that you say that. And I think it's an important point that pattern attributes on their own might not seem that significant, but when they sort of all come together at the right point, like you said, when that memoir on the head starts to form, that it does not surprise me that this fish has got a bit of a fleshy head because it is gaining sumi rapidly. So often when this happens with certain fish, not with all fish, but typically with a lot of Showa, when it really start to form, it and the melanin is present within the fish and it's being produced at a high rate, it sometimes does take particularly on the heads, it can sort of turn a bit of a fleshy sort of colour, but this is just a transitionary.
That's so weird you say that. I've got a shower in my pond at the minute doing this exact same thing, and I didn't put two and two together.
Sometimes I do actually say things that are quite sensible.
Yeah, and I guess it's not just in diet. That's a shower thing when the melanin that's producing the sumi color is the same thing that's causing that head color as well at the same time. It's just pronounced
So
color
very,
cells.
very few fish, well, not very few fish, shall I put? You've basically got a fish trying to create three different pigments all at the same time. Now, not all fish can produce it at the same degree and quality. So what can happen is typically when sumi starts to amass, the shiroji will take a bit of a back step. Once that's formed in the skin and that information is held within the skin and the environment and the diet and things don't change, then that sumi is pretty stable. Then you'll often find that the shiroji then starts to come up. This is why with fish that have got a bit of a fleshy head, it's all relative, you know. I know I say that a lot as well, but it's dependent on what's happening with the fish at that particular time. So some people may look at this fish and go, it's got a fleshy coloured head. Well, that may be time, but moving forward, as I've watched the transition of this fish, as I do from Tosai to this, from young Tosai to this point, I know there's been a development across that. So yeah, I just look at that fish and think if the transition from the head to the body is as good as the shiroji on the body is currently, that's a weapon in the making.
Yeah. I'm surprised we're at 340, but it looks like bits of either there's the lag that you've mentioned, or but I can see Crafty and Colin have a good old natter in there, so it might be just that me and you have seen something in this fish that other people maybe, I guess, you just got to imagine when that. I want to get a Sharpie pen out and draw where that sumi's going to go. And if it does, then I think you're talking about a fish that's nowhere near 340 quid, but that's the gamble, isn't it?
It's probably not a real obvious fish for a lot of hobbyists, and this sort of style can be a little bit polarizing. But when they get bigger, they kind of make sense a little bit more. So yeah, it's a lot of fish for the money from this particular breeder. Again, with a pictured original Denichi certificate as well. So looks like we've not had too much activity since Jason's last. I mean, we sort of raced off, didn't we, with a little back and forth. So I'm going to play this video one last time. Let's see if we can get any involvement. Again, Motoguru and the fins there as well. I expect that to become a bit more of a prominent feature. You tend to get a bit of recession, so you're going to get a bit more Shiroji in the fins. So yeah, all in all, it's the type of fish that I think a lot of hobbyists just won't get, which is fair enough. But yeah, we're looking for bid increments of a tenner, so sorry, you beat me to that. We'll call that 350, I guess. I can't see Crafty moaning about a fiver, so yeah, minus 30. Yeah.
I guess you meant 350, yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
We got there in the end. See if Jason wants to come back to us on that one. Yeah, nice fish. One more fish after this.
Had too much before you joined the team, Joe? You had too much experience, much involvement with any Denichi fish previously, or?
Denichi, no, but the fish that I'm referencing in the pond that's doing this exact thing is a Kindai Showa with Issa, and it's never really had Sumi come up. It's had Sumi like this, where it's threatened for a very long time. Very similar style to this, actually. And the head went really white when I put it in the pond. It had a colour head like this. It went in my pond, and the head went perfectly white. And now the Sumi's starting to come up on it. The head colour's going back to a similar colour like this. So it's really bizarre. It's really interesting you mentioned that.
Trajectory will vary from fish to fish. You've got to make that clear. It's not sort of an exact science, but that is something that a lot of people will be put off by now, only to find that in 6 months, 9 months' time, that fish doesn't have that characteristic anymore. It's just a transitionary phase. I think that's important as well, because sometimes people can look past fish. You know, when you're looking at fish at a dealer's place, you've got a bit of a literal window, isn't it? You're passing. You've not seen the fish up to that point. A lot of the dealers haven't seen the fish up to that point. They just buy it, in there. I guess the advantage that we've got is that where we develop the fish from a young age, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And the amount of fish that we watch, and the learning and the education and the amount of time that has been spent in Japan learning, hopefully we'll be able to pass that knowledge on, and it enables people to select fish with a bit more enjoyment and a bit more of an educated selection. That's what it is. You know, not telling people what to buy, just letting people know, you know, what I see in the fish, and perhaps why certain individuals don't see value in a fish, or certain people do see value in a fish. You know, so ultimately, only time will tell whether someone's validated in a decision. Anyway, and with livestock, there's a lot of variables, as you know better than anyone.
Yeah. I've learned so much from being at Wholesale. To be fair, it's just little things that make a big difference that I would have never considered. But it's little snippets, like you say. If you can pass it on to people, then I think it's good. I think a lot of people tune in just to listen to us have a little chat about koi, to be honest, but not from my knowledge, because my knowledge is very limited. I'm just kind of picking up little bits, but yeah, I enjoy sitting here and listening to.
You're probably a little bit harsh on yourself there, Joe. Like you come in at a decent standard, but as you know, it's just fast. You never. It sounds cliche. You don't stop learning.
Yeah.
And then you're with the whole pandemic, you lose 2 years in Japan. You're back out there, and okay, a lot of them are still doing the same old thing. But then you see like certain breeders, they started breeding a new variety. And then you've got to learn about there. And then if it's a new variety from a new farm, do you want to be the guinea pig with them? You know what I mean? So there's or do you want to sit back? But at the point you sit back, if they turn out to be a variety that turns out to go big, like golden corn or yellow monkey or something like that, then by the time you wait, you're going to be paying a lot more money. It's hard. It is a tricky one, mate. You've got to be ahead of the curve a lot of the time, and sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't. I guess if you got every fish 10 out of 10 every time, we probably would take it a lot more easy, mate.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's the bit. It's knowing the intricacies of selecting fish that I think is the bit that I enjoy watching you and Ricky decide on. Certain fish that I've asked Rick why he's moving on, and then he gives me a reason, and then I see it and I go, yeah, I can see what he's on about there. So it's interesting. Some fish I disagree with as well. There's been fish that I disagree with Ricky on, but it's that's the whole hobby, isn't it?
So, Jason, I'm out. No problem. Thanks for that. Looks like Crafty's just nudged that one. Goodbye that, I think, mate. So, I'm sure one of your clients will be very happy with that. So we'll just do the formalities before we move on to the final fish. 370 going once, going twice.
Oh! A betrayal. Colin is beating the dealer.
Judas. I like that. He's been sort of in the background.
Telling Crafty to bid on it, and then he's outbid Crafty. Crafty, do we have a response? Are you going to outbid your own customer? Out. Crafty says. We go back to Colin Holland at 380. Is anyone going to increase the bid on this one? We'll give it. I'll run the video and then we'll do the formalities with Chris.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
I found a box of magazines in my spare room, so I thought I'd just grab a couple quickly. Seeing as we're talking a lot about like appreciation, understanding, I am going to take this moment to plug Koi Talk a little bit, whilst Colin and Crafty have a tiff. Oh no, we're out. Okay,
we're out.
380 going once, going twice. Sold to the main man, Colin. Yeah, goodbye that, I think, mate.
Yeah, well done.
So just before we go on to the last one, I know we've got quite a lot of viewers, a lot of our viewers that enjoy what we do. If you would like to support us even further, I'm always surprised about the amount of people in the hobby that sort of aren't aware that there's a monthly magazine doing the rounds. This is our little baby, Koi Talk. This is just one of 24 purchase. This is a monthly magazine that we create, full of great articles, information, delivered to your door every month. So if you like sort of our ethos on everything from Japan, basics, how to do things, how to feed your koi, how to get away with with filter in your pond. Yeah, it's all in here. Some really in-depth stuff, some amazing photography, and yeah, we've currently got an offer on subscriptions. So yeah, if you head over to the Koi Talk Facebook page, you'll see the offer. Yeah, a lot of hobbyists. The feedback we get is, yeah, this is pretty invaluable to people. So if you just want to dip your toes and purchase a back offer, then you can. And if you really want to go a bit ballsy, go for the subscription. So yeah, just a little plug on that.
Yeah. Where was we hiding this one on the farm then?
This was actually Azikari fish. So this was quite an expensive tosai, mate, that was bought at NND a year or so ago and left on the farm to grow. And then subsequently shipped. Yeah, a good few. I can't even remember when they came in now. I remember lifting all the boxes. It was, yeah, quite a heavy, intense day that was. Yeah, maybe a few months ago. So yeah, this is from DK lineage. So for those of you, DK represents Donald Kerr, quite a famous hobbyist in our world, English hobbyist. Had quite a famous Omasako Shiro Utsuri. Got a strong relationship with many breeders in Japan, and basically the guys at NND, Nishikoi Nagata Direct, requested, they were in the market to add size to their Shiro Utsuri lineage. And yeah, Donald essentially allowed them to use the female from Omasako to inject some new blood into the Shiro Utsuri line, hence the bloodline name of DK Shiro. So they already had an existing Shiro Utsuri lineage at NND Koi Farm, but what they were lacking is probably size characteristic. They got to a fair size, but the number of larger Shiro Utsuris were not as common as you would see at a farm like Omasako, where sort of 75 plus cm is attainable quite with ease, seemingly, with a lot of fish. So yeah, that was the reasoning behind it. So yeah, we've basically got a fish here that was purchased as tosai, and yeah, developed, left in the farm to grow on in the mud pond over the summer last year. And yeah, this was the finishing article. So pretty wild fish, mate. Sumi style. I mean, the pattern. You've got to love a nice head pattern, haven't you?
Yeah, it's just inky, isn't it? It's just textbook Sumi. The really promising part of this fish for me is that you can see the skin on the head is starting to whiten around the eyeball. It's a bit deeper pigment in the center of the head, but that skin on the gill plate as well on this side is starting to go white, and it's really on its way to becoming like a phenomenal. I mean, it's already a fantastic Shiro, but it's on its way to be even better. And I just think, I suspect this fish is female from looking at it in the bowl. Like, I'm fairly certain there's an egg sac there as well. Like, I think there's potential for this fish.
It's not sex, so I've not checked it, to be honest with you.
No, I was actually fairly certain it was female, but we can never guarantee these things, can we? But
no.
my hunch was, but I'm a novice at these things. Don't take my word as gospel, please God. But yeah, no, I suspect there's room for this to become a real project for somebody.
It's yeah, very attractive fish. I think obviously we've got to protect fish like this. Ironically, our cost price on a fish like this once you take in growing fees, etc., what the starting bid is, but that is the reality sometimes with leaving fish in Japan. So it's for those reasons, the price point is we need to protect fish like this because we don't want to move into a big lost territory. So I think maybe a nice fish to end the night on, just from an appreciation perspective, but it doesn't look like we've got too many takers on this, although we've got a lot of admirers for sure. Doesn't look like we've got any buyers, so which is fair enough. It's not a major problem for us. Fish like this, we know we can do it justice and add value to it moving forward. So yeah, I think we'll give it a few more minutes, mate, and then as anyone advances, we'll put that back in there. Go on bonds at the farm, I think.
Yeah, it's one that we can't really afford not to keep it and grow it on if it's not being sold for anything less than that start bid, isn't it? That's the way to kind of, I guess the thought process behind it from my point of view. Like, this fish has just got so much potential in it that it's whether or not people watching can appreciate that, I guess.
Well,
You can't.
Shiros are a funny one as well, aren't they? I think they're the type of fish that, as much as I love Shiros, perhaps people wouldn't add more than a couple in their pond.
I'd have a pond full of them if I could.
Well, I would as well, but yeah, I think
Yeah, I know what you mean.
most normal people probably wouldn't.
Here we go. So we've got Andrew Wilcox in at 500, looking for
Yeah,
his second fisher tonight.
fair play. I don't think, by the looks of things, you're going to have too much competition, Andrew. But I think at that price point, it's a mega fish.
Yeah.
I can't envisage walking around to many dealerships in the UK and picking up a fish of this sort of standard.
Absolutely not.
Anywhere near this price. So yeah, appreciate the offer coming in. And I think you're out on your own there by the looks of things. So yeah, looks like that's going to be going for a snip. So let's just play the video one last time, I think, Joe.
Yeah, I agree with John there, saying it fit the best fisher tonight, 100%. In terms of all-around potential and qualities, we've had some quality fish on tonight, but this is a step up again, really.
Yeah, always a bit risky. Put like these higher value pieces on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the nature of the auctions, buddy, isn't it? So yeah, that's why we're well aware of that, and we've been on the receiving end of bidding in auctions ourselves. So yeah, it's all good. So I think we'll Andrew's on his own there with that one. So walking away with a super fish there. So we'll do the formalities, Joe, with Andrew Wilcox at £500. Going once, going twice. Sold for £500.
Wow. Well done.
Couple of good fish tonight from Andrew, I think.
Yeah, he's had that one, and which one else did he have? He had G as well. Yeah, the big jumbo toe-side Dainichi Kohaku.
Yeah. Nice little
Well
duet.
done, mate. But 2 fish there for that money. Well done.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, thanks for sticking with us, guys. I know it's a bit of a pain in the backside when Facebook drops off like that, or one of the streaming channels drop off. So for everyone that's popped back over to YouTube. As always, we'll be here next Wednesday again. I think you got question time tomorrow, Joe.
Yeah, I'm on question time. I think with Ricky tomorrow.
Cool.
So yeah, tune into that.
Get your koi fix. Yeah, I have started getting into a German War II series called Das Boot. I don't know whether you've heard of
No,
it. It's pretty good. So I am probably going to watch that whilst the missus watch Love Island now. So yeah, that's the difference, mate.
Fair play.
So yeah, thanks again, everyone. Thanks for all your support. Yeah, it's a nice little community we built on here. So yeah, makes it a lot easier when everyone's sort of teasing and getting along, and yeah, just makes it go a lot smoother. So thanks a lot, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.
See you later, guys. Bye
Bye.
bye.